classmates made their mark on the team, while freshman Jared Park broke through and emerged as a star. Park's the future, the Big Red are the present. It's Syracuse and Cornell next. Welcome out to the soccer stadium on the campus of Syracuse University. Today, the Syracuse Orangemen play host to the Cornell Big Red. Cornell comes in at 5-4-3, Syracuse at 7-7-1. Hello, everyone, and welcome out to the soccer stadium. I'm Jamie Say, along with Bill Baker. And Bill, it's been a roller coaster ride throughout the 2001 season. One thing's for certain, it ends tonight. Tonight is the Orangemen's last game.
Capped off by a very disappointing set of events last night, where Virginia Tech beat Rutgers at Rutgers in Piscataway last night. So Syracuse will not be going to the Big East tournament. They're very disappointed about that. They want to walk off the field tonight with a big W.
Meantime, Cornell, there's little chance of the Big Red making it to the Ivy League postseason tournament, but one bright spot for Cornell this season has been the play of one of their seniors.
Ted Papadopoulos is the man for them. Ted Papadopoulos, a senior forward, 5 goals, 2 assists. Cornell went up to Hanover, New Hampshire on Sunday, and they rallied behind a couple of penalty kicks, won by Papadopoulos, to pull out a 2-2 tie up there.
And while Syracuse says goodbye to its senior class, they also look forward to the future, and it looks bright behind Jarrett Park.
Jarrett Park is without a doubt the hub of a very bright future for Syracuse University. They start all 5 of their seniors tonight, but Dean Fody is looking to people just like Jarrett Park. He leads not just the team, not just the Big East, but the country in assists. 14 assists for Jarrett Park, and he's only a freshman.
Syracuse tries to close out 2001 with a win tonight. It's Syracuse and Cornell next.
Over a century ago, Syracuse University students flocked to tiny Holden Observatory to marvel at the heavens. Today, that same sense of wonder and excitement is alive and well in classrooms across campus. Students and faculty are engaged in research in the sciences and humanities that is advanced even by today's standards. And our alumni, let's just say they're finding new ways to touch the stars. Syracuse University, believers in the art of becoming.
We are back at the soccer stadium at the Lampe Athletics Complex on the campus of Syracuse University. SU tries to close out the 2001 season with a win tonight against Cornell. Let's check out the starting lineups first for the visiting Big Red. The 2 forwards, Papadopoulos and Reuter. Here's the midfield, Eldridge, Pilarski, Hakkinen, and Mendy. The defense is this: Hoban, Haig, Weiner, and Palguda. And in goal today, Doug Allen.
Doug Allen from Irvine, California. I wonder if it gets that cold out there. He was sharp, I understand, up at Hanover, New Hampshire. We talked about their 2-2 tie up there with Dartmouth. He made 11 saves, including 2 in overtime, to preserve the tie. So it made a big difference for them having him in the net.
Here's the starting lineup for the Syracuse Orangemen. Coach Fody changing things up a bit. They're going with a 3-4-3 lineup. The 3 forwards, Johnson, Torek, Park. The midfield, Christofori, Lewis, Slevin, and Andre. The defense, Chapman, Schneider, and Cross. In goal today, one of those seniors, Anthony Peters.
And they are all excited, ready to go here tonight from Schenectady, New York, Shelmont High School. He was an ECAC Goalkeeper of the Week way back when, not too long ago here this year. The first time an Orangeman has been honored by the ECAC this season was when Peters took that honor.
The Big Red are led by head coach Brian Scales. His 4th season in Ithaca, 32, 27, and 3 is win-loss record. And of course, the Syracuse Orangemen, led by a former Orangeman, Dean Fody, his 11th season heading up the Cuse, 92, 93, and 13. Lots of history between these 2 old rivals. This is the 61st meeting. Cornell leads the series 33-20-7, but the Orangemen have won the last 2 games. And the officials for today's contest. The referee is Al Mazzoni. The 2 linesmen, John Harms and Robert Mikulek. And they have already started here at the soccer stadium. Emotion's got to be high for the Syracuse Orangemen.
Syracuse is, they're going right at it right away here.
And that's Ari Schneider, a sophomore, who just kicked it out of bounds. It will be Cornell ball.
That doesn't bode well, does it?
No. This is Nick Haig, the defender, who is really putting some pressure up top for Cornell.
Well, I'm wondering if Mark Davis was going out of his goal to get that one.
Cornell saves it from going out of bounds. Good header for Schneider. Cornell putting on some more pressure. There's the first chance for Anthony Peters, and he makes the save.
We got to watch it tonight because it's going to be very slick. The grass is already wet, and it's going to be just enough to make that ball skip.
So it could be a tough test tonight for Peters and Doug Allen.
Chilly night tonight, and that ball's going to be hard when he wants to punt that ball out of there.
Cornell still with the ball in their offensive half. This is Papadopoulos, who just passed it off for Ian Pilarski. He carries and sends it out of bounds along the goal line, so that'll result in an SU corner kick. Syracuse has been one of the most potent scoring teams in the Big East this year.
When you look at, I mean, Johnson put up 32 points. Park has 24, including his 14, And I don't know, why do they give you 2 points for a goal when it only counts 1 on the board? That's what I want to know.
That's something I've never been able to figure out either. But Syracuse as a team has scored 34 times this year. Cornell, the scores have been a little bit harder to come by. The Big Red averaging about a goal and a half per game. If you can average a goal and a half, you can get a half. But they've had 17 this year in their 12 games. Matthew Eldridge loses the ball but gets it back right at midfield for Cornell.
Well, because they can score, that's why Dean Foti is so frustrated by this team. It's been just one injury after another.
Syracuse really has quite an impressive arsenal. And that's Guido Cristofori passes upfield, but Pilarski gets there.
You know, it's really good. It's good to see Scott Cross come back. Scott Cross had a head injury, and he is back playing tonight, putting it all in there for the Syracuse Orangemen.
Cross wears number 12 for the Orangemen. He will be back next year. He's only a junior, and he's started every game this year for Syracuse, including tonight.
Eric Chapman also back. He was hurt during the course of one of the high points of the season, the Rutgers game, and caused Andre to move back to play the sweeper position. He's out there now doing his bit for the Orange.
There you see Eric Chapman right there, number 2. He's a junior. He'll be a solid leader coming back next year for Syracuse on that defense.
When you look at it, 11 freshmen plus 7 juniors.
The future is definitely bright for the Orangemen. I mean, they had a great year this year, then ran into some injuries and some tougher opponents like Connecticut and St. John's later in the season.
Dean Foti doesn't make, he doesn't mince any words. He knows that they could have done better and they should have done better. But it is such a tough schedule. I mean, when you think about, there were 7 or 8 different Big East teams that were part of the top 25 at one time or another this year.
Here comes Syracuse, giving chase Jared Park, but the defense for Cornell gets there first. But don't count out Park. He's got a lot of speed. He's a little scrappy player out of Christian Brothers Academy.
So Foti says, you may look at the ACC and say they've got a great schedule there. Ooh, little push.
Cornell with another chance. Carrying is Ty Hakkinen. Good defensive effort from Eric Chapman, the top man marker on Syracuse. Hey, gets it for Pilarski, sends to the box.
Oh, nice ball into the box. Ooh, that was a giveaway.
Pilarski trying to lead Papadopoulos on the far side. It just kind of goes to show you the respect that the country has for the Big East in general. When Syracuse was 7-4, they cracked the top 25.
They were number 23 for a couple of weeks, and but when you look at it, the Seton Halls, the Connecticut's, the Rutgers. Funny how that all goes around the New York metropolitan area, though, too, because you can pull from teams. The teams can pull from. And it isn't like they have an extravagant number of foreign players on either team, on any of these teams.
Connecticut won the whole thing last year. The national champions of 2000. And the Huskies find themselves in the top 25 once again. Here comes Syracuse. Let's see what they can do on their offensive half of the field. Slevin had it momentarily, stolen away by the Cornell defense.
Slevin has traditionally started, or been involved in, say, half a dozen games during the course of any of his seasons, 4 seasons here with Syracuse. So he doesn't get a lot of starts.
Ball last touched by Syracuse. Cornell throws it in. Doing the honors, Nick Haig, senior for the Cornell Big Red. Here comes Cornell once again. Seems like they've had it. The Big Red has had it in their offensive half for more minutes than Syracuse has.
They have really been aggressive about this.
Another shot save for Peters.
2 shots already, and Peters already has two saves. And we're just a few minutes into it. Watch the angle on this one. Just couldn't get all of his leg into it, though. Couldn't drive through.
That's a freshman for Cornell, Steve Reuter, so the future looks bright for the Big Red, too. They also have a number of young players who have stepped in this season. Here's Cornell again.
Well, they only suit up 3 seniors.
One of them is the leading scorer, Ted Papadopoulos, along with Nick Haig, who wears number 12. He's one of the leaders on defense, but he's been known to attack as well. Syracuse trying to put an attack together. Stolen in the midfield by Polarski.
That wasn't stolen. That was given away. You got to get more than 3 passes, or you got to make sure you can get 3 passes.
Along the near sideline is Scott Talguda.
See how slippery it is out there?
It is slippery.
Got cross slipping there.
Polarski feed to the outside. Sean Mendy, a freshman, getting the start today. Trying to make a send to the goal, but instead it's out of bounds. Syracuse knocks it out.
I wonder how aggressive the play is normally in the Ivy League. I mean, I know it's quite aggressive when it comes to things like hockey. I mean, you know,
right.
It's a first-class hockey league. They appear to be, you know, staying with it right now.
And I'm sure when those old rivalries get together, the Yales and the Harvards, it probably gets pretty aggressive.
Actually, you know, this is a pretty good rivalry. This one goes back to 1921, this rivalry between Syracuse and Cornell in soccer. And Cornell has quite a large lead.
Away! Send in the box. Cornell looking for a shot, and Matthew Eldridge just kind of whiffed on the ball.
Wet field.
Let's see if Syracuse can take advantage.
Counterattack coming up the side. Can he beat him?
Making the run, Kirk Johnson, who's the leading scorer for the Orangemen, knocked out of bounds by Cornell.
Boy, Turok took that ball. It looked like it went right off of his foot.
Here's Johnson with a feed back for Andre. Looks like Syracuse might try and switch fields. Instead, they'll keep it in the middle and lose it because of the wet field conditions. Syracuse gets it back.
It's amazing that Andre can run. It's amazing he can walk, let alone run.
Andre is like the all-everything player on this Syracuse team. Really the quarterback of the offense.
Well, when you play center mid, I mean, that's your job. Your job is to do that. But he not only does that against, for example, against Rutgers. Chapman went down. He went back and he played sweeper for most of the second half. I mean, that's a player who sees the field. That's a player who understands the game. Dean Foti is just so proud of him and everyone on the team, but especially with Andre as a captain, he really has stepped up and been a leader.
And he's definitely a player that Coach Foti will miss next season when he's not there. He's one of the 5 seniors playing in their last games for Syracuse tonight.
I mean, the seniors seem to be, you know, playing well right now. I don't know that things would be very much different without them in the lineup, you know, if they had their regular starters, so to speak.
SU on the attack. Here comes Kirk Johnson. Just got a little bit of ahead of himself, but SU gets it back. It's Andre trying to go one-on-one instead. Feeds to the outside.
Oh, he had Turok ahead of him. Oh, that's a good call.
First whistle of the half, and it goes against Cornell.
Look at this. I mean, he goes down, but he goes with it. Oh.
That was a trip from Steve Reuter.
It was both feet, in fact. Can't complain about that one. That was a good, legitimate one. Syracuse and their opponents are pretty much even with fouls. Syracuse, I think, has 214, I believe, for the season, and their opponents about 209, 210. So very evenly played.
We mentioned that Syracuse had won the last two meetings between the two schools. Last year's game was really characterized by penalties and yellow cards.
Yeah, yellow cards in the first half. In fact, I think there were 5 yellow cards in the first half alone before they got them into the half, into the second half, and just calmed everybody down here.
Syracuse eventually went on to win the game 3-2, and John Andre scored the game-winning goal last year.
Had the gamer last year for that one.
We've played about 12 minutes, no score here at the soccer stadium. SU playing its last game of the year. Cornell's got a couple of more games.
Cornell looks to be very aggressive, very physical, staying right with. And Syracuse is a physical team also.
Cornell switches field, and it's broken up by SU. Big Red will try and do it all over again.
See how that ball bounced and then took off? Just skidded right across the grass. That's going to be the story tonight.
SU wins it out of the air, up ahead for Kirk Johnson. He can make things happen, instead loses the ball. Now the Cornell defense will try and control.
Goalkeeper can't handle that because it came off of the foot of one of his own players. Syracuse slowly turning the tide here. Do you notice? Slowly, all of a sudden, it's become more of a midfield game instead of their own defensive end game.
But now Cornell making a run. Ian Pilarski fighting for it in the corner, out of bounds. Last touch by SU.
First one coming up for the evening.
Yeah, come on, kid. Come on, kid.
And it looks like Pilarski's going to take it for Cornell. Ian Pilarski, a sophomore out of Pittsburgh, New York.
Away! Get in! Get on!
That was a good corner kick, but nicely defended by Syracuse. And SU avoids the threat. Ball kicked out of bounds by Cornell.
Not only a good corner kick, but it was really good to hear the sound of it all down there. Very rich. Really good.
You heard probably the goalie, Anthony Peters, yelling, you know, that it was
giving
coming
directions,
out.
It's coming out. Oh, that was excellent. What a clear.
Here's Papadopoulos being defended by Scott Cross. Papadopoulos making a run up ahead.
Oh, boy, that had nice.
Kai Hakkinen was right there.
That had shot written all over it. How did they not get a shot off of that? Boy, when you get an opportunity like that with the field the way it is, it's not in bad shape. It's just very slick, very slippery. It's going to be a wet ball tonight. Boy, you got to take advantage of those kinds of opportunities, at least get a shot out of it. Although in our pregame, remember, Peters stopped a shot just like that off of a Connecticut shot.
Basically right on the doorstep on a breakaway, and Peters stepped up and made the save. Peters has had an interesting career at SU.
Yeah.
He's a senior. However, he spent most of his time at SU watching from the sideline because he had to back up one of the best Syracuse goalies in recent history, Kevin Bacher.
Who is sitting over there on the Cornell bench right now.
Kevin Bacher is an assistant coach for the Big Red this year. And, of course, he coaches the goalies. So Doug Allen learning from one of the better goalies from around the Northeast College circuit.
Yeah, over the last 10 years, sure.
Ball goes out of bounds, and Syracuse knocked it out. But there's a whistle. Actually, maybe Cornell knocked it out.
Misunderstanding. Referee says goes the other way.
One of the big red players on the field doesn't like that call. Looks like it's Liam Hope, and he's the captain for Cornell, even though he's a junior. He's questioning the referee on that call.
That's amazing, because soccer players don't usually question the referee's calls. Sorry. Smart aleck.
Papadopoulos leading the charge.
Oh, nothing there.
There's a
Nice.
shot blocked by Peters. Another tremendous save from the senior.
Quick outlet, too. First line of defense, or last line of defense, first line of offense.
And there's a trip call against Syracuse.
Yeah, good call.
Cornell quick on the free kick. Good defense by
Chapman.
Chapman.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like he's marking Papadopoulos tonight. And that'll be an interesting matchup.
Well, there's a discrepancy there. Chapman is only, what, about 5'8" or 9, and Papadopoulos is well over 6 feet tall. So we'll see if the physicality of that makes any difference.
Jared Park, number 15, was leading the way for Syracuse right there with a good individual effort.
Ooh. Cornell got a 13th player, or got a 12th man out there, the referee that time. Oh, good run.
This is Kai Hakkinen. Syracuse able to get back. And there's Peters. So Hakkinen is playing very well. He's a sophomore from Tacoma, Washington. If you look at the rosters for these two teams, Syracuse has a very centralized roster with most of the players coming from Pennsylvania and New York, the Northeast, and Cornell just has players from all over.
It's like, well, not only all over the map, all over the globe.
Yep. From England to Tokyo to Washington.
And Syracuse is no less, you know, multicultural. It just happens to be the kinds of players they were able to get.
We should note that Syracuse also has a player, actually a player from Japan, and a player who's kind of just international. I'm not sure where you say Darren Ingalls is from, because he was born in South Africa.
Right. His address is now Belgium.
Belgium, and he went to school in England.
In England, so he may fulfill like 3 or 4 different necessities there. Everything except female on this team.
Yeah. Here comes SU. Ari Schneider passing it to the midfield for Jared Park.
Park has had just enough. He
Park
wants the ball
fighting
back.
with Kolarski. And here comes Cornell. But Schneider's got it back. Feed for Torek. SU up the sideline. Kirk Johnson giving chase. And Evan Weiner for Cornell knocks it out of bounds.
Got all ball. All ball. Watch Johnson up the sideline here. Wow, what a nice piece of defending, though, by Weiner. Got the ball first. Johnson goes tumbling over the top.
We've played almost 20 minutes. Cornell has gotten 3 shots off. Syracuse has had no shots. Rather, 6 shots off from Cornell, as my statistician corrects me. SU in the box. Here's a chance.
That was questionable. And that was in the box.
That was in the box. Nick Haig with the aggressive defense from
Watch
Cornell.
this one. Here we go from the end zone. Watch this. But Syracuse is going to get a corner kick out of this at the very least. This is the one I'm wondering. No, I take it all back. He was right. Rip. Oh.
That was Scott Cross, who had an opportunity, but the window closed immediately.
A night like tonight, you got to shoot every time you get your foot on the ball. If you're within that 18 yards, especially. And he was going to be right at the top of the box when he took that shot. Because that ball will skip. It's just like a knuckleball.
Kolarski feed to the 18.
I agree. Take that shot. You never know. Especially
That was a good shot, too. Taking it was Scott Palguda, who's a freshman on defense. And
how many shots is the defender going to get to take?
that's right. And Syracuse gave it to him.
Watch this shot. And you know what? He wanted to watch it. Like in golf, don't watch your shot. Keep your head down. Lean into it. Don't lean back. You did two things wrong.
Here's Hayes making the run. He's got Torek on his back and gets through, crosses the goal line. Goal kick coming up for Syracuse.
Peters looking strong, looking steady, looking good in the goal tonight. Keeping things under control, directing the defense, doing what he needs to do. He sounds like a senior, you know.
Nick Hague's been a solid presence in goal for Syracuse this year. Win-loss record is 5-5. Oh, here's the chance for Syracuse if the goalie comes out.
Wow.
David Allen trying to get back in time. A slew of red jerseys surround Jared Park. And SU can't get a shot off.
There were 6 red jerseys around Park. He's dangerous, though. If he ever gets a shot, that ball's in the back of the net.
And Jared Park is so scrappy in the pre-show, in the pre-game tease. If you saw his goal,
that's right.
He was knocked to the ground, got up in a split second and scored.
He just doesn't understand quit.
Get up!
Cornell able to steal the ball away. Papadopoulos picking him up.
Ari Schneider's had the ball taken away from him a couple of times tonight.
Slavin loses Papadopoulos cross, and here's Schneider shot, save Peters. Beautiful save from Anthony Peters.
He is on tonight. He is on. He's seeing the ball really well. That was a lot of speed on that, too. Watch this shot. It's coming back again here now. What a nice rip. Stretched out full length, got his hands on it, knocked it away. It's all right. We'll take a corner on this. Save that goal.
Peters with 4 saves today, and they were all good ones. Corner kick from Cornell.
And another one.
one.
If I'm Peters, I'm talking to my defenders at halftime and saying, somebody's got to help me better than that. You can't let him get his head on the ball like that, especially on the offside, on the far post like that.
Meantime, the shots are mounting up for Cornell. 9 shots already.
Does Syracuse have any shots?
No shots for Syracuse. So they haven't even put David Allen to the test yet. And Anthony Peters has been the star of the game so far in this first half, making 5 good saves for Syracuse.
Saving it definitely for Syracuse, keeping him in the game, which is what a goalkeeper should do. A goalkeeper should keep you in the game. You can't expect them to do it all. All right, took a chance. You got to try.
Possible breakaway for Cornell. This is Papadopoulos. 3 men get back for Syracuse. Shot. Another save from Peters.
But they're rushing the goal. Syracuse is not keeping up with them. Syracuse is letting them get by.
The Cornell attack has been great so far.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Syracuse really didn't know what to expect from Cornell because, you know, they play in the Ivy League, a different conference. The Big Reds' record is 5-4-3. They have had some common opponents this year.
And 0-3-3 in league play, but still, they've played them every year for, well, almost, you know, since 1921. They've played them 61 times, including tonight. They certainly got to know what they've got to know that they're a tough team.
Darren Ingles just subbing in. Will throw it in for Syracuse. Gets it right for Torek. Guido Cristofari finds Johnson.
Ingles looking very Brit tonight with his collar up. What?
Very Brit.
Very Brit, you know. Put one in the back of the onion bag, say.
The bulge in the onion bag. Torek with a shot save from Doug Allen.
Excellent idea. Take that shot. See how that ball skipped? That was great. Great idea.
So even though the ball came right to Doug Allen, it did take a skip, so it was a good save.
Watch
from
this.
the
That
junior
ball
goalie.
could skip right over his head just as easily as not. See how high up he had to go for that? He jumped.
You never know what kind of spin the grass can put on the ball, too, when it takes a skip like that. Johnson feeds back into the 18 for Torek. Flip header from Cornell, but it goes right to Chapman of Syracuse. Feed to the far side, Andre.
One more pass, and that'll be the best 3 passes of the night for Syracuse.
Under 20 minutes left to play in the first half. No score at the soccer stadium.
Syracuse showing some organization there on that last run up the field.
The Big Red make another run, waiting for the ball. Steve Reuter.
Even numbers.
It's 3-on-3. Reuter trying to get by. There's Peters taking charge to scoop up the ball.
He has, though. He has really taken charge. He wants to win this, and if he has to win it himself tonight, he will.
You know, Anthony Peters, only 5'8", and he looks 5'8". He looks very small in that goal, but he's made a number of very big saves tonight.
The only position on the field where height could help you is in goal, because you can cover the goal a little bit better.
Peters comes out again.
Oh, no.
Shot.
Oh, he got it.
Rebound. Oh, my gosh. 2 deflections from Anthony Peters. And Cornell has to be like, what does it take to get one by this
What
guy?
have I got to do in order to get the ball in the net? Watch this. Here comes the kick from the side. Comes out to get the ball. Look, it takes a skip. He would have had it. Got his hands on it a second time.
You know, in baseball, when a hitter is hitting well, they can say the baseball looks like the size of a melon. I wonder what the size, you know, in Peters' eyes of that soccer ball is
Well,
right
a soccer ball is the size of a melon, of
That's
course.
true.
So
So it would have to be,
even bigger. That's right.
you know, perhaps the size of a large globe.
Well, he's just... Yeah, he's really obviously seeing the ball pretty well. Oh, good head. They're going to make a mistake.
Here's Ingles. Here's a little
All ball first. All ball first. Good job.
Ingles to the box. Torek saved it.
Now finally stepping up.
Here's Cristofori. Here comes Syracuse.
One too many dribbles.
And there's Pilarski again, sending it up for Papadopoulos. He's got a one-on-one. He could try and beat him, but good play from the Syracuse defender. That was Chapman again. Cross, a little flick, head over the goal.
Yes.
Over the goal. But that was another great chance for Cornell.
It makes you wonder, though, how many times have Syracuse going to have the ball? I mean, as a player, how many times do you get the ball inside the 18 and you're completely left alone? You know you're going to get like one touch, if that. You've got to do something else about it. That ball was deflected, I think, too. Deflected, flipped over the crossbar.
Ari Schneider was the defender on that play. Perhaps he got a piece of it as he rose in the air with the Cornell player.
Does that tell you the story of the game tonight so far, though? 12-1 shot. I think they've each, and Syracuse has only had one corner kick out of this. This has not been a good offensive first half for Syracuse.
Cristofori to no one in the box except the Cornell defender.
Well, so now we get a corner kick out.
But they hit it out of bounds across the goal line.
Soccer is a game of opportunities, and when you can take advantage of as many of these opportunities as possible, that's when you win the game. Syracuse has not made any opportunities for themselves.
Torek's going to take the corner for Syracuse. He's a senior forward, having a good year. 6 goals and 5 assists this season. Ball going away from the goal. And there's Darren Ingles trying to feed it back into the box. Cristofori flipped it back for Ingles.
A lot of red jerseys out there, it seems to me.
It seems like everybody's playing both ends
Nice
of the
ball
field.
through. Nice ball through. Well, they understand that you can't play just offense and you can't play just defense. They understand that you have to play both ends of the field. Cornell is doing that well tonight. So far for Syracuse, when you're getting off 12 shots to 1 for your offense, that means that your goalkeeper is the one who's playing defense.
Scott Cross puts it through Ted Papadopoulos. Feed back for Papadopoulos. Cross has to get back, and he does. Here's Matthew Eldridge for Pilarski.
Ooh, high kick. Cornell wanted a high kick call.
No call by the referee.
And he was right there. He was in position, so you can...
Here's Ingalls setting up a cross. Jeff Lewis there. A good play by Eldridge.
They're not going to the ball. They're waiting for the ball to come to them. Cristofori there thought the ball was going to come to him. He doesn't realize that that red jersey can also go get it.
And Cristofori is going to throw it in for Syracuse. Under 15 to play in the first half, no score.
Good.
There's a shot off, and just too much on it.
You could tell he towed it, though. You could hear it. You can tell by the way the sound of the way the ball comes off of the foot. You can tell he towed that one.
That was Scott Cross on the shot, the defender coming up and trying to attack.
Scott Cross is a sturdy mate, isn't he?
He is. Scott Cross, listed at 6 foot, 180 pounds.
Yeah. He's solid, though. Looks like he's weathered a couple of upstate New York winters.
And he's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And the Pittsburgh winters aren't much better than the Syracuse winters.
All right, little organization here. See how this all goes. So they're on Andre tonight.
Too much, and Syracuse unable to catch up. Goal kick for Cornell. The Big Red just out shooting Syracuse 12-2, and it's a testament to the performance of Anthony Peters, because a lot of those 12 shots were good ones for Cornell, and Peters has stepped up and made some saves. Meantime, Doug Allen, not too much activity in the goal.
The game's a rumor as far as he's concerned. He hasn't had much to do.
Here's Ingalls making a run, but Cornell able to get back. Cross for Torek, but Torek just wasn't there in time, and he's kind of kicking himself right now, but SU's still on the attack. Cristofori for Park. Park is double teamed, can't get through it.
Strikers have to be the toughest players on the field, because they've got to fight through everybody, and then they got to look good doing it as well. So they've got to be just tough. He's just trying to do too much.
Here's Reuter and Pilarski. We said Pilarski's name a lot.
Yeah, Pilarski's very active tonight.
He's been one of the catalysts to the Cornell offenses tonight.
See if we can get 3 passes together, guys. 1, 2. Nope. Trying to play long ball. I don't know what they're doing.
Here's Park. And a Cornell player goes down. And a whistle going against Syracuse.
He gets a good talking to, too.
Against Kirk Johnson, maybe the official is warning him, you know, be careful, otherwise we'll card you.
Watch what happens here. Yep, came right down on the guy's instep. That's a good call. That's a good call. Charton goes down, and
actually, that was the call, I guess, was against Jarrett Park, number 15.
Yeah.
Ball!
Syracuse substitutes keeping warm too. It looks like that they're looks like they may do some substitution. Or it's just cold. One or the other.
Yeah, it looks like Coach Fody is getting ready to bring 2 new bodies onto the field. Pilarski will take this kick right here.
Ooh, nice
into
chip.
The box and out of bounds. So Syracuse avoids that Cornell threat. And here's the substitutions coming in. It's Brian Dell, a freshman, and Kevin Boyle, A local boy out of Christian Brothers Academy coming in as well.
He's a junior. Been here a couple of years, knows the ropes. I'm just amazed, though, that Jared Park steps in as a freshman, does what he's been doing. Shows an awful lot of maturity.
Jared Park has great size.
Yeah, he does.
6'1", 195 pounds.
Yeah, awesome size for a soccer player.
Here comes Darren Ingles trying to make something happen. Johnson.
Ingles has been doing that. He's been making things happen over on this right side here ever since he came in. David Slevin was not doing as much as Dean Fody wanted him to. Get rid of it.
Here's Torek. He does to Cristofori. Schneider. Feed to the 18. Cornell is there, but boots it out of bounds. Darren Ingles is listed on the roster as a junior. This should have been his senior season, but he had to sit out 2000 with an injury, and he took the red shirt.
Took the red shirt, yeah. So even though this would normally be his graduating class, I don't believe he's a senior.
On the roster, he says...
it says he's a junior, right?
Junior.
Right.
And I believe his first season playing soccer here was 1999. But I'm not certain about that.
And I'm just letting you hang there, too,
Okay.
because I'm not sure about it either. So. Rip.
Here's Andre. Between the legs of the Cornell defender, but nobody there for Syracuse to get to it.
Syracuse is not going to do well playing long ball with these guys. Look at the height they have at the back. When you consider the height that Cornell has at the back, you know, in the defending position, it's not going to be a good idea. Syracuse is not going to be able to win that. I don't care how tall Park is.
Ball out of bounds, and Syracuse will throw it in. Under 10 minutes to go, no score. Cornell has had lots of opportunities to put the ball in the net, but SU has so far gotten a great performance from their goalie, Anthony Peters.
Oh, bad miss kick. Oh, too bad.
So that'll give Cornell the throw-in.
That's the first miscue he's made this evening. I hope it doesn't cost him.
Kai Hakkinen.
You know, for a scoreless game, there's been an awful lot of excitement. Been plenty of good action on the field tonight.
That's a good look at Kai Hakkinen, the sophomore from Washington. 2 goals and an assist this year. Another throw-in for Cornell. This time they get it to the 18. SU trying to get it out. SU going on a little bit of a break. Kirk Johnson is a 2-on-3, though, as 3 defenders for Cornell were back.
Boy, they've had red jerseys back there defending that goal all night. And actually, they haven't even needed it. They've been playing offense most of the evening.
Here's Pilarski giving chase for it. Cristofori trying to make something happen. Trying to lead Torek up the field, but the big red D right there. Pilarski again. Nobody in the box for Cornell to get that feed from Reuter. Anthony Peters, the senior from Schenectady, New York, out of Chalmont High School, has had a tremendous first half for Syracuse, keeping this game scoreless.
Good clear.
Cornell kicks it out of bounds. Syracuse throwing.
They're not going to... Palguda is playing as well as he's probably played all season long.
Here's Johnson, and can't track it down before it goes out of bounds. So goal kick coming up for Cornell.
Do you think they want it too much?
Perhaps.
You think they just want it too much?
They're probably just seeing all the great chances that Cornell has had.
Yeah.
And, you know, trying to match that too. So they've stepped it up a level and maybe just rushing things too much.
Yeah, Scott Benowitz comes in. And he is definitely a tall boy.
That's Scott Benowitz, 6'3", making 5'10" Brian Dell look very short. Benowitz is a tremendous athlete for Cornell. He can run because he competes for the track and field team in the spring season. Here's Andre holding.
Too much. Get rid of it. Somebody's got to move. They're all standing.
Johnson had it for a second. Cleared by Cornell, but right back to Chapman of SU. And Darren Ingalls giving Doug Allen some action. Not really sure what the purpose was for that. It was not on goal, and nobody was crashing for SU either.
Yeah, but you make those kind of passes. You do that just to see what's going to happen and encourage someone to make a run. Look, I'm going to give the ball up. Let's go.
Andre feedback for Schneider. Here's Ingalls again. Gets rid of it for Andre. Back for Ingalls. Johnson for Park. Loses it for a second. Here's Torres.
Shoot.
Here's a shot. Oh, rather across. And Cornell able to thwart that Syracuse threat.
Missed kick bicycle there.
Syracuse might be going into halftime a little bit frustrated if they can't put a goal on the board or get some more good shots off.
All of that, Syracuse did get one more shot on goal out of it.
Ingalls with center mid John Andre.
Look at no movement. No movement.
A lot of standing around for Syracuse.
A little too much posing, guys.
And now they start to move around
Look at,
a little bit, but
look at
again, they're still.
Just look at it. Very little movement. They watch the ball go around the outside. Soccer is not that kind of a game where there are so many set plays. You build things from the back or you build things from the midfield, but it's not a game where there are set plays except on corners.
Here comes Papadopoulos. Pilarski coming on too. Shot, but it's wide, so
he saved it.
Hakkinen saved it from going out of bounds. Here's Hay going one-on-one against Chapman. Cristofori gets it out for Torek. The slide tackle from Cornell.
Oh, boy.
But the Big Red are going to have to retreat.
Andrade recovering from a groin pull, and boy, that slippery field is not going to do him any good. Ooh, that was almost a miscue.
By the goalie, David Allen. He had Jared Park right there, ready to pounce on any kind of mistake.
I mean, he had to see him, didn't he?
We're nearing the 2-minute mark in the first half. No score at the soccer stadium. SU trying to win their last game of the season.
Cornell has 3 more games following this.
Chapman boosted out of the box. To midfield and Torek. Here's Jared Park. 3 defenders back for Cornell. Under 2 to play. Little flick from Papadopoulos.
Well, I see why Park is trying to do so much, because he's getting no help. He feels like he has to. Ooh, plenty of grabbing of the jerseys there.
Darren Ingalls will try and start something. Pass for Andre. Andre's going to be double teamed, splits it for Torek, but Eldridge is there to steal the ball away.
It's been a disappointing and frustrating first half. The way Cornell came out like gangbusters in the first 5 minutes, I would have thought that they would have gotten one at least.
Johnson feeds up ahead for Jared Park. The two leading scorers for Syracuse. Great defense from Evan Weiner. Break up Park's momentum on that play. Under a minute left to play. 45 seconds, no score. Here comes Cornell. It's Pilarski. Pilarski ripped it right to Chapman.
Ooh,
We've said Pilarski's name a lot tonight.
Yeah,
He's the midfield who's trying to make things happen for Cornell tonight.
Cornell playing with only 2 forwards. They're playing with the 2 strikers, but they have had no shortage of attackers all night long.
Even a Cornell defender was in attack mode tonight as Falguda took a shot on goal. Under 10 seconds left to play in the first half.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that's going to do it for the first half as the two teams go into halftime, talk things over, and try and regroup. We're scoreless, although momentum-wise, you have to say it favors Cornell.
Absolutely. And Syracuse did very little to try and take that momentum away in the first half.
All right. We'll have first half stats and highlights coming up next at the end of the first. It's SU 0, Cornell 0.
When a crisis strikes, children need a voice. Help all our children heal. More than ever, kids across the country need to feel that there's something they can do. The Kids Helping Kids campaign lets them reach out to the children most impacted by the September 11th disaster. Thousands of kids are writing letters and drawing pictures for the children whose families and neighborhoods were destroyed. It's a small thing that is doing all of our children a world of good. To join the Kids Helping Kids campaign, call 1-800-FOR-KIDS.
This is William Shatner. Imagine the training and skill it takes for a dog to serve as a blind person's eyes. Guide dogs give blind people the freedom to go wherever they want. And the law permits them everywhere that's open to the public. A blind person and a guide dog are a working team for personal independence. To learn more, call the Guide Dog Foundation for the Blind toll-free 1-800-548-4337. That's 1-800-548-4337.
We are back at the soccer stadium on the campus of Syracuse University. Senior night tonight, as this is the last home game, the last regular season contest for the Orangemen. SU trying to close it out with a win tonight. Right now at halftime, SU and Cornell all knotted up at zeros. Jamie Say along with Bill Baker. But Bill, you know, this could be a lopsided game in favor of Cornell.
I would love to see somebody else besides Mr. Peters there having something to do as far as seniors. Watch this rip here. Great save. Comes out of the net. He is having the game of his season. Watch this one, though. This is a flat out. He's just going to go 180 degrees to the ground. Oh, man. He is keeping them in the game. He is doing everything that a goalkeeper needs to do. Steve Reuter takes that shot. This, though, a double hit. Anthony Peters taking the... Watch how the ball skips. And that's the reason he only got one hand on that, and he wasn't able to get it, but he comes right back. The rip. Oh, man. Shots, saves, and corner kicks. Cornell leading 12-4 on shots. Cornell only making 3 saves. Syracuse with 7, of course, and Anthony Peters showing the senior that he is. Corner kicks 2-2.
And this has been an exciting game. If you like the Orangemen on TV, well, we got more Orange on TV with a little hoops. Men's basketball versus Binghamton, November 19th to 8th, and followed up by some women's basketball against Michigan, a Big Ten power, and then 3 more men's basketball contests versus Cornell, Colgate, and Hofstra coming up in late November and early December. We'll have the second half between Syracuse and Cornell coming up next.
When a crisis strikes, children need a voice. Help all our children heal. More than ever, kids across the country need to feel that there's something they can do. The Kids Helping Kids campaign lets them reach out to the children most impacted by the September 11th disaster. Thousands of kids are writing letters and drawing pictures for the children whose families and neighborhoods were destroyed. It's a small thing that is doing all of our children a world of good. To join the Kids Helping Kids campaign, call 1-800-FOR-KIDS.
This is William Shatner. Imagine the training and skill it takes for a dog to serve as a blind person's eyes. Guide dogs give blind people the freedom to go wherever they want. And the law permits them everywhere that's open to the public. A blind person and a guide dog are a working team for personal independence. To learn more, call the Guide Dog Foundation for the Blind toll-free 1-800-548-4337. That's 1-800-548-4337.
Back at the soccer stadium, we're at the beginning of the second half between SU and Cornell on a cold and damp night here in Syracuse, New York. And one guy making his return to Syracuse tonight, Kevin Bacher.
You know, he couldn't have done any better, though, in goal than Peters has been doing. I tell you, he's you know, he's not quite a legend around here, but he certainly manned the nets very, very well for Syracuse University.
Kevin Bacher, a four-year starter in goal for Syracuse, was a Big East goalie of the year last season, was the MVP of the Syracuse Orangemen last year and the year before that. So he really made his mark on Syracuse during his 4 years here. Anthony Peters making his mark tonight in his last games for the Orangemen.
Yeah, he's got 68 saves now on the year, 61 coming into this game, 7 tonight. He has really kept Syracuse in the game.
He's made a couple, not more than a couple, a handful of tremendous saves for Syracuse tonight. He's got 7 after the first half, bringing his season total to 68.
This is one of the more exciting no-score games, though, that you'll ever see.
Cornell came out red hot in the beginning and really controlled the tempo, got a lot of shots off in the first 20 minutes, and then Syracuse was able to get back on defense and maybe win the battle in the midfield. However, SU has not been able to get many shots off.
I don't see any changes for Syracuse from the 11 that finished the first half.
Darren Ingles didn't start the game, but he's still in there, and he was about a midway. He was a substitution midway through the first half and played well. Here's Jeff Lewis on the near side.
Jared Park is big.
6'1", 195.
He is a truck. That kid is big.
Well, he's just all athlete. He's a two-sport athlete here at SU. In the spring, he'll be competing for the Syracuse lacrosse team, so you're going to see him again this year on Super Sports, playing for the Orangemen. And you can bet he's going to be one of those impact freshmen that LAC team always seems to have every year.
Yeah, they always seem to pull somebody out of the hat.
There's Jeff Lewis, one of the seniors on this Syracuse team.
I want to see Syracuse put together 3 passes before they do anything else. They need to do that. They need to discipline themselves.
Right now they have to gain control of the soccer ball. It's Polarski, nearly stolen away by SU. And now they do. Here's Andre.
Standing. Too much standing.
Ball up for grabs. Here's Guido Cristofari. Ball in the goalie box. And it will go out of bounds.
Syracuse will throw.
Let's see if Syracuse can do anything with this throw-in.
Come on.
Cristofari showing some patience over there, waiting for his team to set something up for Andre. Over the head of Lewis. And the ball goes out of bounds, and
Yeah, definitely.
it was off of Syracuse.
It's not starting out any better than it ended.
Cristofari sends to the box. Nobody was there, and it goes out of bounds along the goal line.
That was frustration. Now, the only thing I'm concerned about is fouling. Last game of the season for Syracuse, and, you know, I don't want to say nothing to lose, but I don't want to see anybody get frustrated. I don't want to see anybody, you know, letting off steam that way.
Your last game of your career definitely wants to be a memorable one, not for any ill will or bad feelings or...
Well, they've been thwarted. They've been thwarted at every turn.
Cornell has played a heck of a game on both sides of the ball, both sides of the field in the first half. Here's Pilarski again, taking it from the defensive half into the offensive half. Feed, and he's got Hackett in, two SU defenders back.
Good job, Darren Ingalls again. He has made a big difference, especially on that right side over there, playing the right wing, playing the midfield position on the right side.
And there's Darren Ingalls. Junior status athletically. His first season playing soccer was in 1998.
Ball up, Lewis. Be another throw-in.
No time, Scotty!
Knocked out of bounds again by Cross.
Boy, Peters didn't look like he quite knew what to do with that. Was that ball twisting just a little bit?
Yeah, he didn't know whether he should just let it go out of bounds and result in a goal kick or try and get a piece of it. Let it out of bounds. And
that was the first indecision I've seen on his part all evening.
well, towards the second half of the first half, so I guess
Right.
rather the last 20 minutes of the first half, he didn't get as much action as he did in the first half. Maybe he went cold a little bit. Let's hope not for Syracuse's sake. He's going to get tested once again.
Overran the ball. How do you do that?
Pilarski right for Peters.
Oh, nice outlet. Super play.
Here comes Jeff Lewis up the sideline. Lewis feeds for Torek, and he lets it get by him.
He makes his own player. He makes his own man.
Right between the wickets.
Papadopoulos just looks so comfortable with the ball at his feet. Of course, then he gave it away.
He gives it away to John Andre.
But he looked real comfortable there.
He's one of the few seniors in the starting lineup for Cornell. Cornell only suits up
Three
seniors.
Anyway.
And he knew coming into this year that he would have to shoulder the offensive load because Coach Brian Scales didn't really know what to expect from this young team, but he knew what to expect out of Ted Papadopoulos. He was the leading scorer in Cornell in 1999 and one of the top scorers last year as well. And there you see Ted Papadopoulos.
Wiping his face off.
He's got 5 goals, 2 assists this year.
This should tell you something, though, about them, about Cornell as a team. That's their high score. He's their leading scorer.
Cornell as a team has only scored 17 times this season. As there's a whistle in the box, and as Darren Ingalls went to the ground.
That's from just on the edge, right there on the line.
Ingalls has really been a spark off the bench for Syracuse. He's just shown hustle defensively and offensively.
Well, he brought an understanding of the field and the game tonight that wasn't there in the first 10 minutes. When they finally substituted him in, that's when it all started. That's when Syracuse started having some more opportunities.
Here's an opportunity for Syracuse. Let's see if they can capitalize on it. They haven't had many so far in this game.
Oh, very nice.
Chips the header right to Doug Allen.
Boy, you can't ask for more than that. That was wonderful. Syracuse had 2 opportunities there.
Here's Andre double-teamed. Ball
even
kicked out of bounds.
I'm sorry, Jamie. Even though he doesn't always score, he usually is. He's more of a passer. Park almost put that one in.
Jarrett Park, 5 goals this season, 14 assists. What a freshman year he's had.
And as we said, that doesn't lead just the team or the Big East even. That leads the nation. 14 assists.
Headed out by a Cornell defender.
Syracuse starting to show the scrap now that they need to. Frustration there from Chapman.
Chapman,
You can hear him.
if you heard him groan there. Cross is just triple teamed right there. Goes down to the ground. And
The scrum will take up right there at the feet of Lewis.
let's take a look at this.
Okay, if you see this truck coming at you, do you let it go? Don't you get out of the way of that?
Cornell player had a hand on across his jersey. He's just smiling. He can take it. He's got a big frame. Here's Christopher, the send to the goal. It's got a spin, but it goes over the net. Cornell had a couple of those in the first half.
That was a good try. That was a good idea. You got to try these things.
It's kind of a different look, a little trickery there.
Actually, the best opportunity Syracuse has had all night, though, was the Jared Park header down here before. Best opportunity all night. Look at them, 3 men forward.
Jeff Lewis trying to shield. Instead, I think that's going to be a little obstruction called against Syracuse.
No, Mendy. Mendy was pulling on the jersey. Yeah, Sean Mendy. So that'll be Syracuse's kick.
Jeff Lewis gets the ball back, and they get it to Andre. Christopher feeds back to Chapman.
Good throw, quick throw, good idea.
Here's Cross to the near side for Lewis. Good feed from Lewis. One Syracuse player was there to crash, but just couldn't catch up to it.
Well, I think it was Matt Turok who was supposed to be there and who was there. All you got to do is just redirect that pass. Or in this case, it ended up being a shot, but you just redirect that, and that ball maybe goes in the bag.
Papadopoulos with a shot, another save from Peters, a rebound, and he gets it again. Anthony Peters just not giving up.
He's leaving it all on the field tonight. There's no question about it. Anthony Peters is just, he's keeping them in the game.
Let's check out this save. 2 saves.
Watch this. Very nice shot, though. Went for the far post. And look at this. Papadopoulos, though, knows exactly what he's doing. That's a great shot. If he was any further to the far post with that, it would have been in the bag.
Now with Hackett coming on strong for Cornell.
And that's something you haven't seen Syracuse have. You haven't seen anybody following up. They don't get many shots to begin with, but they haven't been following them up at all. I really would like to see Syracuse. I fear what will happen if Syracuse does not score first. And I'm afraid that it's just a matter of time here because the Syracuse defense doesn't start staying with it better. You can't let him have a shot at the top of the D like that.
So Anthony Peters just working on a tremendous performance. He was great in the first half, and early on in the second, he's just as good. Pilarski's got it in the midfield. Working against Andre. Coming on, this is Evan Weiner. Flicked out by SU.
And the big difference between Cornell and Syracuse on offense is movement. Cornell has movement.
Another dangerous moment for SU.
Had it all the way. He had it all the way. Peters knew it. You can't let them take those kinds of shots. I'm afraid it's just a matter of time.
So it has been a busy night in goal for Anthony Peters.
Now this shot was wide, but he saw it. He knew that it was there. He was ready for it. "32 minutes away from 2002.
Here's another opportunity for Syracuse. Kirk Johnson, the leading goal scorer, got it. Feed, but right for Doug Allen. It was deflected by the Cornell defense. Shots this half, Cornell with 3, Syracuse 2. The Big Red shots have been a little bit more dangerous than SU's, but...
Oh, don't do you got it, I'll take it. That was the first hustle to the ball I've seen Syracuse have in the second half. Brian Dell making his way to the ball on that one.
Cross up ahead for Torek, out of bounds. Cornell throw in. Bruder's double teamed by SU. And Dell's going to throw it in for the Orange. Flick for Kirk Johnson, got Torek, and booted out of bounds by Cornell. Another throw in for Syracuse. Lewis is going to take it.
Ooh, almost got somebody scrambling.
Said he'll flip it for fellow senior Guido Cristofori.
Almost had a souvenir there.
Yeah, the boot went into the stands, and Cristofori stuffed by a Cornell defender.
Stuffed by Sean Mendy.
Mendy, who's only a freshman.
That was a little bit of a retaliation there, too. Did you see Cristofori just kind of grabbed him?
About 30 minutes left in the second half. Scoreless between Syracuse and Cornell. The Orange is trying to improve to 8-7-1 and close out the season with a win. Cornell coming in tonight at 5-4-3. Whistle against SU.
But you can't find fault with Darren Ingalls for being aggressive, you know, because everybody else seems to be standing around. There's just too much standing.
Good crowd tonight at the soccer stadium despite chilly and damp weather. A lot of parents coming out to see their boys play their final soccer game of the year.
We didn't have to shovel the field, though, before we started. So
that's always good.
That's a good night here.
Let's see what Cornell's going to throw at SU. Pilarski rips the shot over the goal.
Yeah. It doesn't look like they've known exactly what they wanted to do. Anytime on any of these set plays here, neither side has really been into it tonight. It's almost somebody's going to win by default.
Cornell out shooting Syracuse in this game 16-6. 12 of those shots came in the first half. Dell up for Andre. Beatty's got Torek on the far sideline.
Wow, playing long ball and they win.
Torek going one-on-one. That's a great camera angle right there.
Wonderful camera angle just to see him slip.
Chapman for Andre, and for Cross on the opposite field. And he'll come to the near side for Johnson. Misses the header, and Lewis can't save it from going out of bounds.
Well, I kept begging them to make 3 passes together, and they still aren't doing it. I would love to see him get 3 passes together and not have to play long ball.
Mendy was throwing for Papadopoulos.
Look at the hustle. Look at the hustle from Ingalls.
Hackett beats Haig. Ingalls right over with the slide tackle, and he's going to be whistled for it.
He'd be lucky if he didn't get a card for that one.
Ingalls says, hey, I got all ball, but let's check it out.
Well, did he get the ball? Yeah, he did get the ball first, but then he also got the man.
But then he took out the player.
Took him down. Well, he had the advantage, and that's the reason. So this ought to be interesting.
So another set play coming up for Cornell.
Well, if Syracuse just steps up 1 step, play the old offside play.
This is Papadopoulos. Looks like he's taking a free kick.
Oh,
and it's a goal. Anthony Peters had it, except it was just too strong.
Papadopoulos.
And Papadopoulos, the leading scorer for Cornell, puts the Big Red up 1-0 on his 6th goal of the season.
And Peters took one for the team there, right into the goal post, right into the side post there. Watch this. He could not have seen this coming there. It had to be a shielded play. Wow. When you put it in that upper corner, look at he put it in the upper L there, that little square. This is a heck of a shot. Just not enough time to react to it.
Just perfect placement, too.
Just under the bar.
It looked like Peters just finally picked it up when it had already just crossed the plane.
Yeah, when the ball is traveling at 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour like that, you just can't quite get it. I fear, though, for Syracuse. And because of the fact that, well, maybe here we go.
Syracuse playing with a bit more intensity after this, and Christopher with a shot, Allen with a save.
Actually, maybe just what they need to get themselves going here. But we talked earlier about the lack of height. But that hasn't bothered Peters in the past. But still, there was a time where being, you know, just 2 inches taller might have helped him. He might have, you know, he might have been able to react to it quickly enough.
He could have seen over the wall that was created by all the players there. Here comes Syracuse again. But Cornell defense right there. But here's Ingalls, and he slides and slips up on the wet grass. Ari Schneider.
Come on, go down!
Syracuse is now motivated.
Which is hard to believe that it's taken till, you know, this point in the game.
25 minutes, 26 minutes to go in the game.
For them to be motivated when it is the last game of the season. Another chance for Cornell. It's a 2-on-1. It's Papadopoulos just out of his reach. Peters giving chase. And it's going to be knocked out of bounds as Papadopoulos goes to the turf, and he's holding his ankle. That's his left ankle.
That had to hurt.
As he was taken out by Peters on a cold night.
Oh, man. Peters rolled right over on him. He was going for the ball. They were both heading for the ball. That had to hurt, though.
That stops the clock with 25-28 on the game clock. There you see the numbers for Papadopoulos this season. 6 goals and 2 assists. Let's take a look at that play.
Yeah, here's what happened. Ball came down 2-on-1, crossed the only one there, and Peters decides he's going to go out and try to take care of this. Rolled right under him. While it hurts, it doesn't look, though. It looks like it's... Oh, I see. He caught it underneath him, yeah.
Underneath Anthony Peters' body.
Right.
And he's still on the ground holding that left ankle.
So that means that the ankle, that means that the foot was like perpendicular, was 90 degrees to the ground. And then Peters rolled on top of it. That's...
So one of the Cornell seniors on the ground, and he's been a tremendous leader for Cornell this year. Let's take a look at the Syracuse seniors that are playing in their last game of the season. Anthony Peters, the goalie, the team leader. He leads the team with 51 saves coming into tonight. But he's had a tremendous performance. He's got to be around 70 right now.
I think he's up around 70 right now.
He's got to be. And then there's Matt Torek, part of that potent Syracuse offense, the forward, scored 5 points in one game. Right.
Had 2 goals and an assist in a 4-2 win for Syracuse University down at Army.
And then you got John Andre, who's just really the quarterback of the team at center mid. He's had a great career at SU. He's 7th on the SU all-time assist list with 15. Then, of course, the Syracuse men's soccer team is, you know, known for its dedication on the field and in the classroom. Jeff Lewis, David Slevin really just says it all for the academic side of the soccer.
Had a chance to talk to Dean Fody and talk to him about how proud he is of his team, about how many of his kids graduate, about how many of his kids, about how his kids are so strong, and just as a team, they really have a great feeling for each other, and what great athletes and students they are. Papadopoulos off the side, and we're back in action now.
And Anthony Peters is, too, as he corrals the ball right before leaving the goalie box.
Wow.
Jamie Say, Bill Baker here at the soccer stadium. SU facing Cornell right now. The Big Red with a 1-0 lead. The goal coming just minutes ago on a goal by Ted Papadopoulos. We've got 25 more minutes left in the second half. SU trying to tie things up. We'll see what happens if Cornell's a bit deflated now that Papadopoulos is out. He's been their main threat tonight, even though they've gotten great play from guys like Pilarski and Hakkinen also.
They've had great play from everybody from front to back here. Syracuse is lucky to be only down 1-0.
Anthony Peters has been the man tonight for SU. Another chance for Cornell coming up here. This is Reuter. going to be double teamed by Chapman, and now Cross will lay off a bit. It's Eldridge. Stolen away by Chapman. Stolen right back. And now SU emerges with the ball into the offensive half of the field. Torek loses it again.
Matt Torek is not having a good night at all.
He's very frustrated. This is the second time when he's kind of missed the ball, let it go by him, and he's just kind of, you see his shoulders just kind of sag after that, his frustration. Matt Torek, one of the seniors, 6 goals, 5 assists this year.
He's just trying too hard tonight. Trying to have too good a night.
Well, sometimes you can let emotions get the better of you.
Yeah.
Shot just wide. Taking it with Steve Reuter, the freshman out of Illinois.
And of course that one went wide, so it's not officially. It's not an on goal. But that was the most. That was terribly dangerous.
That was close. That was very dangerous. Yes. Talked about in pregame that the future looks bright for Syracuse with guys like Jared Park on this team, the freshman, but Cornell showing off a number of good freshmen tonight too, and Reuter is one of them.
Cornell has doubled Syracuse in shots, and Syracuse already has more shots this half than they had all of first half.
Here's Torek up ahead for Ingalls, and that's all he could muster. Doug Allen, the first guy to the ball.
Great idea, great cross.
Meantime, I'm watching the Cornell sideline, and it looks like Papadopoulos has his cleat and sock off of that left foot. However, he is standing on his own and kind of walking around. And there you get a good look of Papadopoulos. He went down and probably get some ice on that thing very, very soon.
Keep in mind, though, that they have 3 more games, and they really want to make sure that he's able to play in them. So if they don't need him tonight, they wouldn't mind. Don Andre doing it all.
And they're going to give it to the big red. Andre kicked it out of bounds. Andre's been a little frustrated tonight, too.
I think Andre's still favoring himself a little bit. You know, the man's been injured all season long. He has not been able to perform up to 100% since early in the season.
We talked about it earlier in the first half. Andre's a guy that Coach Fody would definitely miss because he does whatever is asked of him to do. He'll play up front. He'll play
as long as you ask him to do it.
He's played the entire game so far. At center midfield, just really one of the most active positions on the field.
Syracuse is really, really frustrated right now. You want to see them finish out the season.
Here comes Kirk Johnson. He's been shut down by this big red defense, and yes, he is pushed down to the ground. That's going to be a call.
You're lucky. There's no card. There have been 2 or 3 times now. That could have easily been a card. Watch the hand come out. He definitely got the, and look, pulling on the thing, that's a card. That's a yellow.
That's number 4 is Matt Eldridge for Cornell. Now, last year, seems like there might be a little bit of bad blood between these two teams. Last year, in the first half alone, there are 5 yellow cards between Syracuse and Cornell in the 2000 game, and a number of penalty kicks.
Quick, up.
Torek holding on to it. Get it across.
Matt Torek is just not having a good night tonight. It was an ill-advised pass is the reason I was saying that. That was just
a couple other bodies going to the ground. Now things are getting very physical. And a whistle will stop it and give the ball to Syracuse. Here you see Matt Eldridge, a senior out of Cold Spring, New York.
Watch the pushing and shoving here. Bang, bang, bang. Well, plenty of it on both sides of the ball here. Cristofori back up quick.
Cornell scored its goal on a direct kick from Papadopoulos. Let's see what Syracuse can do with this set play.
Syracuse setting it up.
There's Cristofori, rips it. Into the box, Jeff Lewis. And over the net. And right after that, Lewis just kind of kicked at the turf.
Yep. Just can't catch a break tonight.
However, this is setting up a Syracuse corner kick. As it was deflected by Cornell.
Will they take a short one here?
And your coach. Get back close. Right, 7. Away!
Good in the middle.
Swinging out. Cristofori came in for a second now as he'll go get it. Lewis.
Keep the pressure on.
Back
Keep
in
the
the
pressure.
box, but Cornell trying to clear, and here comes Kolarski. Cornell coming on again. Up ahead for Benowitz.
Way
and
offside.
that's
Several
offside.
steps. Several steps offside. Great idea, though.
Under 20 minutes left in the second half.
Here's the benefit of someone like Anthony Peters, who can start it from the back like that.
Right to Sean Mendy. Kicked out of bounds by Cristofori.
Aren't you amazed at how many Cornell supporters are here for a weeknight?
And they're vocal, too.
And they're vocal.
They're really rooting on their team. And, well, you know, it's an old rivalry, and Cornell really isn't that far away in
No,
New
not far
York.
at all.
Booted out by the goalie, Doug Allen.
Allen had a lot of momentum going. I mean, he had the momentum behind him. He came way out, became a field player at that point. Night like this, I do not like it playing back.
A few switching fields, but dangerously close to the goal. Slick conditions tonight. It's damp and very cold here on the SU Hill.
Wouldn't you would expect your center midfielder to be a little more involved in the play. And the ball has not been on the foot of John Andre very much. Here we go.
Chance for Syracuse. That was Park. Here's Torek. He'll whip it right to Allen, though.
After just talking about how he's not been having a great night, how great opportunity for him to vindicate himself.
Let's take a look at the shot from the senior Torek.
It's that old thing where Papadopoulos took advantage of the entire net rather than firing it right into the middle of the net, which is what Torek just did.
Papadopoulos' direct kick was a tremendous one. So much speed and muscle on it, and just really the perfect placement.
And Andre is down back near midfield inside the circle. He is not well.
He's back up now, but yeah.
He is not moving well. You can see that he is able to run, but he's jogging is what he's doing. He cannot get back on defense.
And looks like a Syracuse player is going to the table.
He went down hard. Went down hard. As much as you want John Andre in there.
And as much as John Andre wants to be in there, too, I'm sure, in his last game, but you got to get him out of there. He's fighting through it, though. He's running a little bit better. He wears number 10 for Syracuse.
He's real good straight. He's real good. But when he has to change, when he changes field, you can just see the grimace on his face.
Probably waiting for somebody perhaps to just kick it out of bounds. Or for a Cornell player to kick it out of bounds so they can stop.
One bad pass after another.
Here comes Cornell. They've got some numbers. It looks like a 4-on-3.
3-on-3 right now.
Polarski, cross, there's Benowitz and the chip.
That was a very nice play. It's not set plays, but it's taking advantage. It's being able to think quickly. It's being able to move without the ball. It's movement and thinking quickly at the right moments there.
Substitution, Matt Morgan coming in for Syracuse.
Number 21, Matt Morgan checks into the game for Syracuse.
Matt Morgan, he just fell out of bed.
Kevin Boyle comes out. So it looks like Andre's still in there. So he's going to play through it. But you're right about that.
You're right.
Andre's still out there.
You're right. He's still in there.
No, Matt Morgan subs for Boyle, and that's just going to be a Cornell corner kick coming up.
Really? Oh, my God. Boy, the way Andre went down, though, one would have thought that he would be out. He would think he would be the first one to pop out of there.
Nope, but he's still into it, trying to encourage his team. He's got just under 14 minutes to tie up this game. Cornell has a 1-0 lead. As he wins the ball out of the air, great job by Guido Cristofari on that header. Jarrett Park slips, tries to regain control. Here's Kirk Johnson, passes it back for a teammate, back for Park.
That's it. Take a shot.
Park does just that.
That's funny, because I usually fall down, too, whenever I take a shot.
But it's not because the field's so slippery.
No, got nothing to do. Whoa! Oh, my. Did you see Mendy? Just flat Lewis.
Park, stopped by Allen. Great save. Allen goes back in the goal.
Goalkeeper was out of the...
Wow.
He was out of the net for a full 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And Syracuse couldn't gather the ball back.
Meantime, Jarrett Park stayed on the ground for a couple seconds after. Checked this out.
Wow, nice save by Allen. Very nice save.
Saw Park going down to the field.
No Syracuse player can get near the ball, though.
Here's an injury update on Ted Papadopoulos. He's got a sprained left ankle. He won't return tonight. So at least it's not broken. It's just sprained. Hopefully for Cornell's sake, it will heal in time for the next game.
Get up! Get up, get up, get up! Stay march!
Well, they have a game Saturday.
So he's got a couple of days to nurse it.
Yeah, they play the 10th. They play home. They play Columbia at home.
Substitution, Peter Lynch coming in for Cornell. Clock stops with 12:09. There you see Ted Papadopoulos. Scored the only goal of this game so far. And then about 2 minutes later, was looking for another and just paid the price.
Paid the price.
Syracuse goalie Anthony Peters was in a foot race with Papadopoulos. Tripped over Papadopoulos' ankle.
Boy, all the saves that this kid has made tonight.
There's Cristofari.
Too much one-on-one.
Kirk Johnson trying to get free. He does for a second. Oh. And Doug Allen steps up to get the ball, but that was probably the best chance for SU.
Too many. Well, actually, the header from Park was a better chance because Syracuse is just trying to do too much one-on-one right now.
Polarski takes the shot, and Peters just lets it go out of bounds.
That's a shame because he did not deserve to be scored on tonight. You know.
Anthony Peters just had a tremendous game. It's gonna be a game that he'll remember because he just made some unbelievable saves.
But he tried to, you know. You can't do it all yourself.
Kirk Johnson coming on, the sophomore out of Pennsylvania. Gets back for Johnson.
Syracuse picking it up right now. You can feel it.
They've got 10.5 minutes
Go big cross
in
here
the
now.
second half. Ari Schneider along the near sideline in the corner, double team. Schneider stripped up. And that's going to result in a Syracuse corner kick.
We'll take the corner. Ari Schneider started out a little bit tentative this evening and has picked up his game very, very nicely. Got all ball, though. I mean, he tripped over him, but he got ball first. That was good.
Torres going to take the corner kick.
It's going to be an in-bender.
Long corner kick, and Cornell gets it out of the way, but Andre's got it. As he's trying to send it back into the box, Cornell takes control. Throw in for SU. That was a long corner.
That was way too long, though. And there was no one there. I don't know. I'm sure they had something else in mind, but it doesn't look like it.
Strong throw in for Syracuse, but Cornell able to defend it. Ball out of bounds, and it'll be a big red throw-in.
Maybe Andre has some little mantra that he recites to himself to be able to keep going on like that. I wish I knew what it was, because he went down in a heap.
He's played the entire game.
Hurt. Played most of the season hurt.
Well, he's just used to it. You know, he's just used to fighting through the injury, and that's probably why Coach Bodie didn't send in a substitution for him, because he knows
he'd rather be
strong
out there.
enough to keep on playing. Here's Kolarski, and just overran it, allowing Syracuse to get back.
Well, actually, it gave Benowitz a chance to get back on side.
Kolarski, the overlap.
Oh, nice heel pass. Nice heel.
Scott Cross stepped up with a little slide.
That was Scott Cross's best defensive play all night. That was excellent.
Andre for Torok. They give it for Cristofori.
Still, here they are, though. They still stand. They stand.
Jeff Lewis tripped up, and that's going to be a call. Peter Lynch, number 2 for Cornell, comes over to make sure Lewis is okay, but Lynch knew he did something wrong.
Yeah, he knew right away. Try not to look guilty. That's the problem. If you look guilty, you know, you see. Oops. Admit nothing.
Here's Peter Lynch, a freshman from Pennsylvania, Fort Washington, Pennsylvania.
Did he card him? Yes, he did.
They did get a card. That's the first card of the game.
And there have been plenty of opportunities. I heard someone from the Cornell side saying that they were at the halftime. Someone, one of the parents down here. We'll tell you that story in a moment.
Good kick. Goal. Syracuse scored Kurt Johnson from Jeff Lewis, and we're all tied up at 1, Syracuse and Cornell.
Johnson with yet another goal. Good job.
Kurt Johnson, his 13th goal on the season, bringing his points to 34 on the season.
Here we go. Very nice. Lewis, nice height. Syracuse's tallest man. There we go.
Let's see this from another angle. There he is.
Just enough height. Just enough height. Oh, great idea. Just redirected it. And Allen, of course, was just a bit off of his line. If he was on his line, he would have gotten that.
That was John Andrade on the assist, taking
Andre
indirect.
taking the indirect kick.
That was probably, well, that was the best set play from Syracuse all game because it worked, but that was a terrific kick from Andrade.
It doesn't matter if it worked or not. It was still the very best. That was great.
So John Andrade, the senior, gets the assist to tie things up. 7:25 left to go in the second half.
Well, it'll be a flurry here of activity here at the last 7 minutes. That's for sure. Illegal throw? Absolutely.
Looked like both feet came off the ground on that one.
Well, actually, he threw it with his right hand. He did more of a swing. Was that Benowitz? Yeah, I believe that was Benowitz.
So the intensity level just been kicked up a notch now that this game is tied with about 6.5 left to play in the second half.
Well, you know, it really doesn't matter how well you've played the entire game. You can play the last 10 minutes well and win, and that's what matters.
Peter Lynch going one-on-one against Lewis.
Ooh, a misplay on the part of Cornell.
And here comes Scott Cross.
That's playing around.
Andre beats it to the near side.
Changes field, that's good.
Here comes Ari Schneider, leading the way. And just too much on the stem.
Yeah, but no flag up. That means he was onside. That's good. That's a great idea.
Peters saves it from going out of bounds.
Well, Syracuse is on a mission here. They really want to win this one. They don't care, and frankly, they probably don't care how long this game goes. It wouldn't matter if it had to go into overtime. Cornell, on the other hand, would really like to win this in regulation.
Because they've got more games played. For Syracuse, this is it.
Syracuse is going to leave it all on the field right here, right now, tonight.
Here's Andre, tripped up, no call. Andre's looking for it. He's not going to get it.
Okay, so here's a quick chance for me to tell my little story about what was happening. I heard some of the Cornell folks, because they were getting ready to start the second half. And they said, well, we don't have any referees. And someone said, well, it doesn't really matter. They didn't make that much difference in the first half anyway. So.
Andre's probably thinking that right now after he didn't get a call on that. There's a shot way over the net. And Anthony Peters just pumped his fist. He sees new life in his team right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's a new game, all tied up at 1.
It's 1. Well, I have to tell you, that man right there deserves to win tonight. Anthony Peters has played the game of his, I won't say his career, but he certainly has played the game of the year this evening.
He's been the best player out on the field tonight. Syracuse will throw it in with 4 minutes left to go in the second half. Cornell has outshot SU 21-13, but most important statistic is the score.
Getting tired, nobody moving.
Kolarski rips it.
Yikes.
And you can see just the fatigue on Cornell as they're walking slowly back to get in position. And one of the things that made Cornell so dangerous in this game was just the movement on their offense.
They're aggressive. They were very aggressive. Keep moving. Feet, fast feet.
Cornell wins the ball out of the air.
Win. Another header and another win for Cornell.
And another header and a win.
Ball stays on the ground. Syracuse got a much better chance at it.
Here's a chance for Cornell. SU able to get back on defense. It's still in the box, and Peters will just let it go out of bounds.
Wow.
It's a little too close for comfort, though.
Way too close. Must be running out of spots to place the ball over there on that side. They've been using that side all night. Well, Syracuse has to notch it up. It doesn't matter.
And Syracuse needs to take advantage of this momentum swing. It might have started when Papadopoulos had to leave the game with a sprained ankle.
It started when Papadopoulos scored.
Yeah, that's right, because Syracuse was much more intense about tying this game up. Then Papadopoulos went out. SU tied it up. Now Cornell doesn't have its leading scorer on the field. There are other guys that can score, obviously. But Papadopoulos was really one senior, one of the leaders on this team, and now he's gone. Syracuse can take advantage.
Way to go, Matt.
Morgan feeds up for Lewis, and he can't get to it.
Do you notice Andrade has had more touches on the ball in the last 10 minutes? We've talked about Andrade more, and Andrade, and I don't just mean for being hurt. Andrade, though, has had touches on the ball, and Syracuse's play has improved.
Watch out. Ball comes into the stands after Anthony Peters boots it out of bounds. Nearing 1 minute left in the second half.
That field is just getting, it's not terrible condition, it's just wet. It's just wet and it's slippery. Both teams falling down.
Under a minute left to play. 55 seconds left in regulation.
Build something. Come on, guys.
Here's Andrade.
Here we go.
Leading
Get
a charge.
some numbers.
Andrade's got Christopher. Andrade feeds for Johnson. And booting it out of bounds, making the play was Evan Weiner for Cornell. Kirk Johnson, 6'3", 180 pounds.
Come on, get this
Led
right.
SU in scoring last season, did the same this year. And he's only a sophomore.
Throw in.
Long throw in the flick from Johnson, and what a save from Doug Allen, reaching over that Syracuse player's head to corral it. Cross fighting to win that ball.
Look at Andrade running to the pass.
Under 10 seconds left to play. The ball looks like it's going to tail out of bounds, and it does. So that basically marks the end of regulation. You know what that means? We're going to overtime with the game tied at 1. Syracuse's season not ending just yet at the end of 2 halves. It's SU 1, Cornell 1. Overtime is next.
For generations, Syracuse University has offered those seeking a higher education the opportunity to share in a rich variety of educational and professional experiences. This timeless vision of learning, commitment, and success has been shared by Syracuse students past and present. Emphasis on the core values of quality, caring, diversity, innovation, and service makes Syracuse a leading student-centered research university.
I'm running late. I know. Bye.
Wait for my signal to cross, okay? We're about to begin overtime here at the soccer stadium. We're all tied up at 1 between Syracuse and Cornell. Let's show you the reason why we're heading into the extra inning.
John Andrade set this up very, very nicely. Watch this. Real nice piece of work here. Putting the ball right up high. And there's Johnson's goal.
That's Kirk Johnson, the leading scorer for Syracuse this year, adds to his total 13 goals.
Shots for Cornell, 22-16. Syracuse has caught up immensely since the first half. Saves 7 and 9 there, and all of those saves for Syracuse University from Peters are tough saves. Corner kicks 3 and 5, as you can see.
And they're about to begin. Now it's a fresh 15 minutes on the clock. The next goal wins this one.
Call it sudden death or golden goal, however you want to refer to it, but it's first one to score.
And if there's no score at the end of one 15-minute stanza, they go to another one.
Right. Switch fields.
This is the 6th time all season Syracuse has gone into overtime. They're 2-2 and 1. And games going into overtime. Meantime, for Cornell, this is the 4th time. All of their overtime games have ended up in a tie. Here's Andrade, who assisted on the game-tying goal. His 8th assist of the year. That's 2nd on the team for Syracuse. Torres, lead pass for Johnson. Can he get a piece of it? Good defense from Weiner.
That was excellent defense. That was a great piece of defense. Just cut him off as he was heading into the box. but Syracuse does get a corner kick out of it.
Syracuse able to score on a set play in the second half.
Watch this. Real nice defense. Watch, he just cuts him off. Just cuts him off. That's exactly right. And he had nowhere else to go with the ball. Had to put it out of bounds. Syracuse with a corner kick now. Here it comes. Oh, very nice piece of goaltending there.
Doug Allen stepping up and makes the catch. Allen, a junior out of Irvine, California, being coached this year by former SU goalie Kevin Bacher.
Syracuse with a little life in their step now. Nice save.
Another save from Anthony Peters. Out of Cornell's last 5 games, 4 of them have gone into overtime now.
Well, Syracuse remembering the Notre Dame game, which is very recent. Just in fact, that was their last game. So their last game, and they lost 2-1. And they played down a man. They were 10 men for most of almost all of the second half, and of course all of the overtime period.
One of the Orangemen got a red card and had to leave for the second half.
I believe it was Torres.
Not sure. Christopher up ahead for Park, the header, and there's Allen.
Nothing on it, though. Oh,
Park's down on the ground again. This is the second time he's been on the ground, and he's not going to get up. The referee's going to stop the clock.
Yeah, but Doug Allen throwing the ball out of bounds to give him a chance to attend to him because he knew he was hurt right away. Watch this. Oh, he bounced heads. Bounced heads with
Evan Weiner, number
Evan
14.
Weiner, right.
You know, it's interesting. You spoke with Coach Fody before the game. He said a couple players are questionable for tonight's game because of head injuries, like Scott Cross.
Scott Cross is just back just from that, though. But I'm trying to remember who the other one is. Who was there? Ryan Hall is not playing because of that. And of course, the decent thing to do, you know, this is one of the few times in sports where consideration is given. You know, where you give someone quarter for just sportsmanship takes over. Someone's hurt, they throw the ball out of bounds, give them a chance to attend to it.
And it's an intense game, and Doug Allen did the right thing. Long send from Liam Hoban. There's Benowitz. Andre trying to catch up. Weiner's there. He's been stepping up of late.
Eric Chapman has had a good game, I think. Coming back from injury from a couple of games ago. Eric Chapman is doing a great job back there. Of course, he is their sweeper, and he will be next year. I would imagine Chapman would be captain this year.
They've got another captain coming back next year, too, Chris Aloisi, who's missed the entire season, was a junior captain this year. But he had to take a red shirt instead because of a preseason injury. Guido Cristofari going to throw in for Syracuse. All knotted up at 1 with about 10.5 left in the first overtime.
First to score wins.
There comes Pilarski. Cross there to slow him down. And now Andre steals it away.
Boy, he's tough.
He really is.
That was a great piece of footwork. That was wonderful. He won that one single-handed.
Cross for Torek. Still holding on to it.
He has only gone right tonight.
Here's Johnson. Gets for Cross. Cristofori's got it now. Trying to go one-on-one. The cross, the shot, the rebound, and he captures it. What a save from Doug Allen.
Doug Allen.
Wow.
Well, he's been watching the guy at the other end of the field all night. He's been watching Anthony Peters. Watch this save. Very nice. I didn't think Christopher was going to be able to get it before the line.
That was a great cross.
Super centering pass there. How appropriate would it be for Matt Torek to put that one home and win it as a senior?
It would have been a jubilant moment for Syracuse, but instead,
oh, misplay.
How about Doug Allen?
Doug Allen, though,
great.
Stepped up when he had to on that one. That's no question about it. That was a great save.
The goalie play has been tremendous today. Allen making 8 saves today, averages about 6 a game. Meantime, the guy at the other end, Anthony Peters, is just as well.
He is limping. He will not come out. He will finish this game on the field.
Here comes Benowitz.
Off.
And finally the whistle blows.
Come on, somebody! Tackle somebody!
Andre will direct the offense here. Get it for Johnson.
Very nice.
Towards the little give and go for Johnson. Penny catch up. Yes, Johnson.
Another nice save. Well, that saved a great opportunity because Andrade was right in front of the goal. He had sneaked in behind Allen.
Syracuse has put together a number of good chances. You know, you can see the momentum going the way of SU.
Nice ball through.
Just like Cornell kind of started out in the first half just attacking. SU has answered just late in the game.
Yeah, they saved it all for here at the very end. You notice that Andre is not using his right foot very much? I wonder if it's because his groin has been pulled again. Woo.
Matt Morgan ripping it.
Taking a good rip at it. Holy cow.
Stays in the park, though. Doug Allen has been tremendous in overtime. The last game...
Whoa.
Okay, and now there's going to be some more cards here. As Mendy and Scott Cross got wrapped up. And the card's going to be against Cross.
Question, though, is he going to give another one? Is he going to do just the one, or is he going to do 2?
So far, I've only seen one.
Well, it looks like Mendy is just defending himself until there.
Cross initiated it by grabbing his jersey.
Absolutely. Well, he deserves it.
Peter skies to grab the ball. That wasn't an easy save to make. He's only 5'8".
And he really is only 5'8", because I can look him right in the eye. All right, so it makes up 2 balls on the field.
Checking in, Matt Crumrine.
Number 15,
as Hackman comes out.
beginning for Cornell, replacing number 15, Kyle Hackman.
Come on, Sean.
Christopher finds Johnson. He'll get rid of it for Andre.
Nope. Andre and his right foot is fine.
Five and a half left to play in the first overtime. Still tied up at 1. First goal wins. Park saves it from going out of bounds on the far side.
Oh, here we go.
Park making a charge.
Rip.
Stuffed by the Cornell defense. Falling for a second. Kirk Johnson's trying to save, can't catch up to it. It'll be a goal kick for Cornell.
Boy, if Allen had only realized that that ball had come off of a Syracuse player, he wouldn't have been chasing it like that.
Cornell's last game was against Dartmouth. It ended up at a 2-2 tie. Allen made 11 saves, including 2 crucial ones in overtime.
So both of these teams coming off of overtime play. Syracuse with a negative, and
Andre up ahead for Johnson, and Allen gets there first. Quick throw in.
he has played well in the second half.
Johnson has.
Yeah, he's had a good second half.
Morgan with the send. Park trying to get the ball. Cornell able to get it out, but right to Ari Schneider. Matt Eldridge to the corner, and Chapman's there.
Some Rudy Chapman on. Chapman, go get him, Eric. Syracuse will be at the throw, right?
Yep, Syracuse will get the throw in.
Good.
Well, off of Cornell, rather, I should say.
Cornell.
Says the referee, so SU.
Oh no, he called
actually
a foul.
A foul.
Andre keeping that ball alive.
Cristofori up ahead for Andre.
Oop.
Morgan catches up to it. Syracuse will switch fields, and they come to the near side for cross.
Lots of room.
First half. Cross just got Weiner in the ankle, and you could just hear it. You hear the contact.
You could have heard that without the microphones, guys. Holy cow.
Evan Weiner, a sophomore from Portland, Oregon. So another West Coast kid coming to play for Cornell.
Listen.
And let's check out this play and listen to the contact.
And well, we'll talk about Andre in just a moment. Ooh. Ouch. In the meantime, while we were watching that, John Andre picked up a yellow card. It must have been for something he was saying, for some harassment of some sort.
And now Weiner's going to sub out, and Cornell's going to bring somebody in. That stops the clock with 2:19 to go. Cornell and Syracuse all tied up at 1 in overtime. This is the last game of the season for Syracuse. They really want to win it.
Referee Mazzone has not been, he hasn't given these out willy-nilly. He's been conservative with the way he's given them out, but at the same time, he's carded Syracuse. This is 3 times now.
Number 6, Matt Blumenstick into the game for the Big Red, replaced number 13, Evan Weiner.
Here's Mendy.
Mendy with a great play.
SU able to get it out, though. Here's Cristofori, but right to Scott Benowitz. He's tall, 6'3".
Yeah.
Feet in the box. Peters will get it. It's blocked, and he corrals it. Jeff Lewis looking to send.
Great opportunity here. Syracuse needs to score. Great opportunity for him.
Here's Jared
One
Park.
too many times.
A minute 30 left to play in the first overtime. Here's Lewis. And a whistle. Offside.
Flag went up on the far side. He was offside.
Offside against Syracuse.
Lewis is offside is on the run down here.
Clock still ticking. Minute 5 now left in the first overtime. Lewis breaks free. He's a senior. Pass off for Park.
Rip
For Torek. Whips it. It's just over the goal. Wow, that was close. Torek wants that back. Allen came out of the goal very high to try and meet it, but...
Well, he cut down the angle, and he did what he was supposed to do. Watch the angle disappear as Allen comes out. Oh, it was deflected, wasn't it?
Well, it couldn't have been deflected because they give Cornell the goal kick. 30 seconds, under 30 seconds, and Peters has it. Takes a look at the clock.
Syracuse looks like they're just going to let them switch fields and try to score down here at the other end.
Benowitz wins the ball out of the air. Under 10 seconds. 5 on the clock. Syracuse and Cornell all tied up at 1. So once again, the Syracuse season is extended by at least 15 more minutes.
Or until the first goal is scored.
Or until the first goal is scored. So we've played one overtime. We're going to another. There you see head coach Dean Fody wants to close up this season with a win. He's got to like the effort from his team, though. So we'll have the second overtime coming up next.
For generations, Syracuse University has offered those seeking a higher education the opportunity to share in a rich variety of educational and professional experiences. This timeless vision of learning, commitment, and success has been shared by Syracuse students past and present. Emphasis on the core values of quality, caring, diversity, innovation, and service makes Syracuse a leading student-centered research university.
We are back at the soccer stadium at the beginning of the second overtime. Syracuse just loves playing soccer so much it doesn't want the season to end. Got a couple more minutes left of soccer. As you can see, a frost is set in on the field, making for very slippery conditions here at the soccer stadium, and that's taking a toll on this game.
I think instead of cleats, they're going to have crampons by the end of the game this evening here. It's almost the 2002 season. You know that, don't you? We may just play over on into it.
That's right. Well, a fresh 15 minutes on the clock.
Can I tell you? I don't think the word fresh exists right now. I don't think anything is fresh out there anymore.
Jamie staying along with Bill Baker. We're in double overtime. SU and Cornell all knotted up at 1. Both goals coming in the second half. Syracuse's score coming late in the half.
But well done. Really nice set play.
It was a feed from John Andre to Kirk Johnson on a set play. Meantime, Cornell's goal came on a direct kick from Ted Papadopoulos, who's not in the game anymore, had to leave with a sprained ankle.
That floater up there like that is just death for a goalkeeper at this time of the game. He does not want to see something like that come flitting up in front of him.
Here comes SU leading the charge. It was Kirk Johnson.
Switching field, no.
They'll keep it in the middle. Cristofari taking it. Tripped up.
He's not going to call.
No call.
Oh, man.
Well, really...
You don't want to end it, though, on a penalty kick like that. You just don't want it to end that way. And I don't think Syracuse would want it to end, but, well, maybe they do.
Well, they want to end it with a win.
That's what they want, but the referee would not call it. That would, especially in the second overtime, no way. They would have to draw blood.
Syracuse coming into tonight's game at 7-7-1. They really want to close out their season with a winning record. Here's Kolarski, and Peters will take over. SU has dropped its last 3 in a row, so they really want to break this losing streak and go out on a high note.
Well, they beat Rutgers, and then they tied Seton Hall, and then they lost 3 in a row. Now granted, they lost to 3 of the toughest teams in the league. They lost to St. John's, and they lost big time down there. But you got to admit that they lost to some quality opposition.
Notre Dame's a very good team too.
They're top 25 teams.
Yep.
And they beat Go ahead.
It just goes to show you that the Big East is a really, really tough conference in terms of men's soccer and in women's soccer, too.
Well, let me tell you something right now. The Ivy League is showing itself pretty proud right tonight, right here. This is a tough outfit.
I mean, the Big Red coming in at 5-4-3. The Big Red have not won a game in the Ivy League. They're 0-3-3, so that's a tough conference as well. Good throw-in. The flick from Johnson right to Allen.
They still have Columbia to play in league to see if they can get a win out of it.
In the regional rankings, Syracuse comes in ranked number 3 in New York. Cornell right behind them at number 4. And this has really just been an even game. Cornell played better of the two in the first half. Here's an opportunity. There you go. That's the game. Cornell wins on a game-winning goal from Scott Palguda, the freshman defender.
Syracuse
Just like
cannot
that.
believe. And it's as simple as they did not mark their men.
Anthony Peters can't believe that it ends like this, the 2001 season. On a score from the defender, Scott Palguda, on a great charge from the Cornell Big Red. Let's take a look,
Quick look at the
the
goal
game
there,
ender,
yeah.
at the game winner.
Papadopoulos so happy for him.
Giving a big hug to Scott Palguda. And let's check this out. This is Polarski.
Watch him. Very nice piece of work here. Nice ball across. He was not marked.
Palguda, the defenseman, coming out of nowhere. And Anthony Peters made some great saves, could not come up with that one, though. Great goal from Scott Palguda. So that is it. Cornell and Syracuse, a loss, a 2-1 loss in overtime. Next game coming up on Super Sports Men's Basketball. Binghamton comes to the Carrier Dome. We'll bring you that game Monday, November 19th at 8 o'clock. That's Syracuse and Binghamton right here on Super Sports. What a season it's been for the Syracuse Orangemen. Too bad it ends this way. For Phil Baker, my name's Jamie Stacey. Thank you so much for joining us, and so long from the soccer stadium.